What's going on, everybody? Welcome back. It's Fishy Chess here, and we are back with the Northern Open 2023 Round 2. I have the black pieces in this game against Nadim Boulos, and he looked to be roughly around my age. It wasn't another middle schooler, so felt pretty okay about it. I couldn't really tell the strength of my opponent. I think he was rated around 1200, but yeah, I have the black pieces. I'm in my mind. I'm just thinking, let's just keep this train rolling. I won the first game. Let's keep this momentum going. So I was expecting e4, which is exactly what he played. So I'm fine with that. And in last year's tournament, I responded to e4 with e5 in all three games that I played. And I don't really like to play e5 anymore because in the first game it was a pretty standard Rui Lopez, and I played this Danish Gambit and I won a very nice game. But in my next few games with black, I played e5 and then I got a King's Gambit, which I'm not super comfortable with, and I ended up blundering in the middle game. It wasn't because of the opening, but I just didn't feel too comfortable with that. And then in my third game with black, I faced a Vienna, and I got absolutely steamrolled. So after that game, I was like, okay, no more e5 against e4. I'm going to play the Caughey c6. And so he plays d4, normal move, d5. And like I said before, I couldn't really tell how strong my opponent was. I think if he was a little stronger, he'd probably go for an advance and maybe for this tall variation, which I know a little bit, but I honestly don't see it as much as I would think, considering it's like very popular at the top level. But instead, he goes for the exchange variation, which I'm a lot more comfortable in. I get a nice developing square for my knight. My bishop can easily get out. So I like the exchange a lot better. He goes for knight f3, and I pin the knight with my bishop here. And he goes for h3, which the computer says is the best move. And it doesn't like when I move my bishop back. It wants me to take. But I'm thinking I like the bishop pair better. And if he plays g4, which he does, I just move my bishop back. If he castles kingside, his king's already going to be pretty weak from pushing these pawns. And I like my position better. Computer says white is a little bit better, but not too much advantage here. So I feel pretty good about this. He plays bishop d3, which the computer doesn't like, although this is a very common move in a Caughey. I often see this bishop d3 move. I don't take it because I don't want his queen to get free development. So I just keep developing, and I'm thinking, okay, he's probably going to take, and I'm going to get a nice open file for my rook. I'll just play king f8, and I'm not going to castle. I'll just keep my king safe there. But instead, he plays knight e5, which I've got some arrows here. I'm thinking he's moved his knight twice in the opening. I'm committed to giving up my bishop and getting this open file with my rook. And I'm not too worried about this. Although the computer says it is the best move for white, I don't really care about it. So I just keep developing knight c6, and if he takes, I'm very happy. If he takes here, I got the open file for my rook again, and pressure on his king side if he castles. So I'm totally fine with this. He plays bishop b5 again. He's moving a piece that he's already moved in the opening, which is kind of an opening principle. You don't usually want to move a piece more than once. Obviously, I moved my bishop a lot, but that's because it got attacked and he just moved a bunch of pawns. So here I'm like, okay, well, I'll just get my rook to the open c file, defend my knight, and I'm okay. Bishop, or the computer says it's a mistake. It wanted knight d7, which gives up a pawn, but you get development, and it's okay, but I prefer rook c8, just keeping with development. He plays queen f3, which, as you can see, is a blunder, and The idea here is bishop e4, which skewers the queen and rook, which would win me the exchange. And I kind of thought for a little bit here, I was thinking, is this intentional? Like maybe he's going for an exchange sack because he's got good attacking potential on my f7 pawn, which I was, in my mind, I was thinking, okay, maybe I go here, here, and then if I take this, he could play g5, and if I'm not careful, I can move my knight and blunder checkmate in one, which I wasn't gonna do, but if my knight gets attacked, I would just have to give it up and just play this. But computer says black is basically winning here, but I thought maybe he was seeing something that I didn't, so I just defended this pawn with e6, and then he plays h4, and I'm like, okay, he wants to play h5, and I'm thinking, did he just miss this? So that's what I played, and computer says it's a great move because it's the only good move in the position. And I was definitely thinking queen f4 with the same idea that I discussed. He plays queen h3, which computer says is best, and that's because this doesn't really do much. So I take the rook, he takes my bishop, and now I'm officially up the exchange. I'm up a rook for a bishop, and I'm thinking I am basically winning. So let's just keep developing. Let's get my bishop out to d6. He plays g5 now, and I play bishop takes e5. The idea is if he takes my knight, I can take with the bishop, and I'm just a lot better. He takes my bishop. I move my knight to attack this pawn, and he defends it with f4. Computer doesn't like it. I didn't really see what else he would play. Computer wants knight a3, which, like, who's going to play knight a3 here? And I mean, black's already just super winning here. So I go for this knight d4, which attacks this, which would fork the king and the rook, and it attacks his bishop. So now I'm thinking, okay, now he has to play knight a3, which guards both. And I don't know if he just missed it or if he was just tilted, but he just played knight c3, and I'm like, all right, I'll take that free rook. And so I won both his rooks. I am completely winning. This is kind of a no-brainer at this point. He plays bishop e3. I just keep attacking. I could have castled, but I'm thinking, let's just go for his king. Let's just go on the attack. The idea here is I can take his knight, and then he would probably have to take here, and then I'm fine giving back a rook just to get pieces off the board and then just get to a completely winning endgame. He takes my knight right away. I just take back, and then he plays king d2 to win my knight back. And here's where I play rook takes c3. He takes with the pawn. I take this pawn with check. And now he has to, I mean, he's completely lost here, but if he goes here, which computer says is best, I can just win his queen. It's over. And he played king d3, which blunders mate in 2. And I saw it right away. Queen c2 check, king d4, and knight b3 checkmate. And I end game 2 with a very emphatic victory. And I'm thinking, first game, Evans Gambit. Second game, Exchange Carl Khan. I couldn't have asked for much better. I'm feeling very good. So, yeah, that is how that game went. There weren't too many lines to look at. I feel like it was a pretty straightforward game. He just didn't really understand the position enough and didn't really see what threats I had. So yeah, that's game 2. Looking forward to showing you guys game 3. And yeah, we're 2-0 in this tournament, and we're looking to keep going. So yeah, see you guys in the next video. Bye bye.